Bitcoin's down a little bit in the short term on the short term chart. You can see the bearish tweets out there, the bearish videos, but maybe that is just from the short term Bitcoin thinkers because looking past that, there is on chain metrics. There is very, very solid data suggesting that a supply shock is getting ready to occur. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Thank you for coming by. Hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber and hit that like button on the way in. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Let's jump into the Bitcoin video. This is Bitcoin on the daily chart. And you can just see Bitcoin's down on the daily, just above the 50-day moving average here in blue, revisiting a pattern that we've talked about on this YouTube channel. We're going to talk about this. We're going to discuss the technical analysis on the short term, really, what's happening here and what to look out for on the short term. But there are really more important things going on, and it's part of this story. And this is a weekly chart, and this is going all the way back here to 2011, and you see the uptrend. It's almost impossible if you just look at this chart and nothing else in crypto. It's almost impossible to be bearish on Bitcoin. It's almost impossible to be bearish on crypto. This is a weekly chart. This is sometimes all you need, and then you can just kind of walk away. It's playing the long game. It's playing the macro, and this is just data. There is absolutely no guarantee that this trend continues. So be very careful. And this is not financial advice, but this is the data. And we've been doing YouTube videos about Bitcoin and other cryptos for years, and it's just been so consistent. And so when we're taking this chart alone, and it's the most simple chart, I don't even have any lines, I don't have any moving averages. When you just take the story of Bitcoin and what it's accomplishing across the globe, and you back it up then with on-chain metrics and you back it up with data and what's going on, the story gets even more powerful. So let's do that. Before we dive into these charts, let's look at this. This is the Plan C on Twitter. I'm going to put a link in the description. Please go follow him on Twitter, just providing such solid data in terms of Bitcoin. And he's putting in the work to really just gather it and visually allow us to see it and understand it and comprehend it. Because I was just telling him on Twitter, because I was telling him I was going to track this data and use his tweets. I was just telling him, I'm not like statistics, all of this is like kind of over my head a little bit. Like I'm not that guy, right? I'm not the numbers guy. I really am not. And I really appreciate the work that he puts in and others in the space put in to provide the data. So this is it. The Bitcoin supply that has not moved in at least 1 year just sets a new all-time high at 63.46. This is 46%. This is April 7th, just yesterday. And it basically goes on, once breaking previous all-time highs on this metric, a significant price uptrend has always followed over the next few months. The question is, as you read that, right? And as you see this visualization, is a price uptrend getting ready to happen? Is Bitcoin getting ready to once again shock the world? Is it going to shock the pessimists and the bears that are out there? And here's the chart. If we just zoom in a little bit, and you can see just in orange the percent of supply last active 1+ year ago in orange as it rises. And here it is rising all the way in September 2020. Remember, according to our charts and tracking Bitcoin data, November 2020 is really when that bull market started. And you can see the uptrend in price beginning, breaking through key technical levels on the charts that we've just been tracking for years. So as that was happening, you can see this topping out in orange, the percent of supply last active 1+ years ago. And look where we are now. If you look at it, it is right up there again. The supply last active 1+ years ago hitting all-time high. It's pretty crazy to see that. We have another kind of perspective on this. For the 4th time in Bitcoin's history, we have entered the green zone. The last 3 times this occurred, the Bitcoin bottom was already in a massive bullish uptrend, and the bottom was already in and a massive bullish uptrend followed. Now, when I was just chatting with the Real Plan C on Twitter, he said that this is basically showing the buildup of coins held by people that are just not willing to sell. So that's pretty much all we're seeing here. And it's just very simple to see this. You see this blue line falling into the green. The last time this happened, if we zoom in a little bit, 2018 bear market low, 2015, that's like the bear market low, and then all the way back here in 2012. And we can go look at the chart over here. these are these bottoms that we're seeing. There's 2018, here's 2015, all the way back here's 2012. And so those bottoms are backed by like data, real data. And this is a visualization of what's going on here. It's a visualization of the data, and we're in that green zone. So the real plan C also said true confirmation will be when Bitcoin kind of leaves the green zone. So I don't think that has happened yet on this chart, but it's something to track. It's be very interesting to see that. And it's kind of like, well, when will that happen, right? How long will Bitcoin kind of range in this green zone? And then we start looking at the charts and we say, okay, let's start preparing, right? Let's kind of get a sense of what's going on here. Let's start preparing. And if we go really quick to the weekly, and let me actually open up everything once again so that we can see this. The first thing on my mind as I'm kind of zooming in here on this chart, and this is the weekly chart, and we're talking about this 20-week moving average crossing below the 50-week, the green line below the blue line. We see the red candle. There's still 2 days left on this weekly candle. We do want to see the 20-week. We want to see the candle close above the 20-week moving average, currently around $43,600 or so. It's not that far away. So we'll track that in the next couple of days. But beside that, putting that aside, to the downside, maybe there is some downside for Bitcoin on this weekly chart. And you can just see it because this has been kind of the story of just a higher low uptrend in this longer term consolidation. This is a weekly chart. This is going back a while, over a year. And what's so cool about this chart is this is consolidation. And it's consolidation that we've seen in previous cycles, really. It just looks so different. And that's what makes this so powerful, because if you're looking at this data that we just looked at, remember this supply shock, right? And Bitcoin entering this green area on this chart, 2018 bear market low, 2015 bear market low. This is after consolidation, and it's really after bear market that Bitcoin's doing that, right? So it's right here. It's all the way back here. I would say right around 2015, somewhere in there. And now, according to the data, it's also right here. But look how different this consolidation looks like compared to this consolidation and this consolidation. And that is a powerful thing that I think we really should just take note of as Bitcoin continues consolidating. But again, as we zoom in here, I can't help but ask myself the question, as you see a volume, even on this weekly chart, just look at it, just decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. And right now, as Bitcoin is putting in a weekly candle, yes, it's below the 20-week and the 50-week moving averages. I can't help but ask the question, are week longs selling? Are week holders selling Bitcoin? And is that what's kind of happening right here? And when they're done with this low volume, is Bitcoin going to put in another higher low on this more longer term chart and start seeing an upside? Could that be the story that plays out, that kind of coincides with the story that we see here? Meaning we're seeing Bitcoin in this green zone right now. We're seeing that these long-term holders are not selling, right? The supply that hasn't moved in a year plus is at an all-time high. When it exits this, right? And then when this chart starts kind of, price starts going up as this orange part starts topping out, when that happens, are we in that part of the story on the weekly chart? I mean, I could talk about downside all day long. We know there's downside, right? I do talk about downside so much. Sometimes it seems like I talk about it more often than not. But in this video, I really just wanted to kind of just discuss what's going on here on this weekly chart. I know this 20-week moving average crossing below the 50-week isn't the most bullish thing, and it's something to be very cautious of. But with this on-chain metrics, I think we really need to be very, very careful in using one simple indicator like that. Because if you go back to the weekly chart and we use another indicator like the MACD, look at this. Well, we just got a MACD cross, the signal line, the MACD line crossing above the signal line. So we have a bullish indicator right there, and then we can say, oh, but we have a bearish indicator here. Well, maybe we should look outside the charts and start integrating some on-chain metrics, some data, and start trying to get a clearer picture that way as well. And that's really what I wanted to talk about on the daily chart. again, this is nothing new for Bitcoin. This move right here is absolutely nothing new. Zoom out on a daily chart. The move happens all the time, whether it's in a downtrend, an uptrend, whatever. These little short-term downtrends happen all the time. In this case, Bitcoin revisiting a pattern that was in play, right? Just above the 50-day moving average, around $41,800 or so, just above it right now. We want to keep track of that. And then at the end of the day, we want to keep track of if Bitcoin can put in a higher low on the daily. So swing low to swing high at that 200-day moving average. We have coinciding with the 50-day moving average, the 618, 41,500, right around there, to the 786, around 39,800. Bitcoin could continue consolidating in this area. We want to see if there's some bullish confirmation of support in that area. If Bitcoin does trend down even further than where it is right now. So that's what I'll be watching on the short term. But this data, everybody, we got to pay attention to it. And even looking back historically, the on-chain metrics data that suggests Bitcoin could be going bullish has been very consistent. So be careful out there. And when I say consistent, like I mean it. Look, every time this has happened before, we see what happens to price next. So, and previous times it was literally marking the bottom of bear markets. So that's very interesting. So anyway, appreciate the Real Plan C and his data. I appreciate you for watching. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let me know what you think in the comments below about all of this, what you think Bitcoin will do next. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.